Imagine this. A mom and her 2 sons are the last passengers on a moving bus, and a young wife with her older husband. There's nothing in common. But what if the driver is a complete lunatic who is dead set on murdering this family because of their ethnicity, and the wife had been forced into an arranged marriage with this guy where she gets routinely beaten by him for making simple household mistakes. Just like that, we have 2 prime examples of oppression. The end. But not if you've read these 2 books, because you'd know that I've referenced these scenarios from certain events. And with that extra context in mind, do you remember how these characters responded to their oppression? With absolutely nothing. Huh? That's right. They resorted to silence not because they wanted to, but because compliance was the only effective way to evade or mitigate the consequences where their lives were at stake. Look at Born a Crime, for example. I'm talking the bus scene, where the driver was about to murder Trevor's family because they come from a different tribe. That's literally out of their control. But keep in mind that this book was set during an era where the government went heavy on ethnic segregation, making hatred only natural. And with her life and her kids on the line, Trevor's mom could only apologize and try to negotiate with this driver. In Woman at Point Zero, Firdaus endures beatings and mental abuse from her husband with no consequence. Why? Because the system they live in neglects the rights of women, if any were even present. And unfortunately, her and many other women's only choice is to endure this oppression until death. Like, look at Firdaus's auntie. The disregard of women has been so normalized that she's become numb to it. In my case, I learned to never talk back to my dad or complain about doing chores in his vicinity, because I would get belted. These 2 stories ultimately boils down to express the hopelessness of the silent. To survive in their world means to conform to their system, no matter how the system treats and classifies you. There's no room to speak out, nor to protest, because rarely will those voices immediately make a change. The reality is that those who speak out will likely be shunned and face death before seeing change at all. And at a glance, it seems like these characters don't have any other choice. But to truly live is to break the limitations that binds you. The way I see it, living without the freedom to express oneself isn't really living at all. It's a constant struggle of protecting your identity while ensuring your survival. And that's what makes it so compelling when others break the silence. Trevor's family jumping out of the bus almost got them killed, yet they did so anyway to reclaim their ethnic pride. In a similar way, Firdaus retains her womanhood through living a lifelong fight against traditional roles forced upon women until she's eventually sentenced to death. At its core, Born a Crime and Woman at Point Zero are not happy stories. They feature characters that sacrifice so much to be reminded of who they are, and in doing so, they express hope in a world devoid of it. To be honest, I'm just grateful for the Charter of Rights and Freedoms that we have, because without it, speaking my opinion in a video like this would be viewed as a crime rather than an educative tool. And this might be weird to mention, but I'm glad to see that protests happen in Canada, whether it takes place in person or online. And that goes tenfold whenever we advocate for people outside of our country, since our voices will echo their needs around the world. Sometimes, we forget we can create more impact than we'd like to think. And often, we say things like this, and while it's not a bad start, we can always be better.